questions. Okay. Ready? And live, 7 minutes
Yep.
late. We're live.
Hey, everybody. If it's a little after 2 o'clock Eastern, it must be Ask the Agents. My name is William Bowles. I'm a licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group in New York City, and I'm here with Samuel Austin Hoffman, licensed real estate agent, and lots of other things live from Houston, Texas. And we're excited to be here, and we are live every day afternoon. We usually go live at 2 p.m. Eastern, but we're running a little late today, and it's all good. It is all good. So, Sam, how you doing today?
I am great. How are you doing? It is a Tuesday afternoon. I will say that here in Houston, Texas, they've had a lot of rain, and every day we get a little bit of sunshine, and then it's like goes away with the rain. And you look at your forecast, and it's very dismal to look at your forecast because I don't know if you can see, but it's just nothing but really rain clouds and
Wow.
thunder.
All right. All right.
So, and New York, I know, I think what was the last weekend or this past week has been very pretty.
Yeah, man. We
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
gorgeous.
it's cloudy right now, but yeah, that's what we got. That's what we're looking forward to, which
This is
is
my favorite time of year. The 60s in New York, the fall is
it is
unbeatable.
my it is my favorite time of year as well. Let's kick the show off with some real estate headlines and real estate statistics that came out today. I'm going to give you, I want to give you some of the headlines that we have. Let's see. Manhattan sees biggest slowdown since fall of Lehman Brothers. Let's see. I saw something from Bloomberg that
Way to
said,
kick off the sunny shine.
what's that?
Way to kick it off, sweet.
I know, I know. I need to find some of the headlines because, of course, the press loves to turn real estate or any news into, clickbait or whatever. But I will tell you this: the third quarter numbers just came out literally this morning. I'm going to give you some highlights of that. Let's see. Manhattan buyers remain cautious during the third quarter due to lingering concerns over new tax implications and continuing belief that prices will reduce further. So despite a healthy economy and a robust stock market, the urgency to buy is diminished unless a property demonstrates clear value. I would agree with that. Many buyers are taking a wait and see attitude, and as a result, sales declined and inventory spiked versus third quarter 2017. So closings fell 10% year over year. Let's see, although up 5% from the second quarter, so that's good. That decline was driven by 8% fewer resale co-op sales and 37% new development closings. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Price statistics exhibited various signals. Let's see, average and median price per foot were both down 3%, dipping to levels last seen in third quarter 2015. So you can interpret that one stat is that the market's rolled back at least 3 years in pricing. Let's see, what else do we have? Those are sort of headlines. All right. So, and again,
Sum that up for us.
Sum that up.
What is your take on all that?
Less transactions, for sure. Although my transactions are up this year.
Do you agree with what they're saying overall?
So I think that market statistics always lag the market. So, for example, we felt a little uptick, I would say, past the past 4 or 6 weeks. I think that's going to carry into probably what will be a little bit better fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit better than usual. A lot of these numbers, and if you dig into any stats, they're skewed by new development numbers, and they're skewed by the really expensive apartments. $140 million sale can skew a whole category of numbers. And if you're having in general less sales than you used to above, say, 5 million or 10 million, that's definitely happening. That also
townhouses and massive townhouses.
Yeah. I always like to look at what's the co-op resale doing, because that's the bread and butter of my market.
What is that doing? Did you say that one?
You know what? It's kind of moving sideways, and it's kind of been moving sideways all year. However, it's apartment by apartment, and some co-op resales are worth less than they were even 4 or 5 years ago, and other ones.
It's moving sideways, but do you see it moving going either direction eventually?
Well, the way that it's been described to me by people who really know what they're doing is that basically we're going to be in this market for quite some time, which is just going to be like this, and it's just right. and depending on what category you're looking at and what the apartment's like and all the things, you're sort of bumping along. I personally think it's going to be that way for a while, so I agree with that. I think what will change that is probably a more downward turn, which will be triggered by inflation or something happening on the macro level. And at that point, I like to say, because the buyers that are waiting for that to happen, by the way, are generally not the buyers that are actually going to buy when it goes down again. Because they're going to be scared of losing their jobs. Their investments are going to be worth 25% less than they were. And I'm so not gloom and doom. But my point is, what are you waiting for? Interest rates to go up because the real estate market is doing, then they already have. And actually, they're like right at 5% now, which we haven't had in a long time.
They were at 3%. I feel like yesterday. It felt like almost.
It was about a year and a half ago or so.
I mean, and that felt like yesterday.
No, and you're right. And this coming from the man who's thinking of buying a home.
A house, and I think they're down here. I think because we talked about it recently. 4.1.
Yeah.
4.15.
I just saw
it's not at 5, but
right. Well, and it depends on the type of loan you're getting and all the credit.
I just put this in perspective. It's crazy because my father bought this home 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they had at the time a loan where you could have zero money down, which is insane to me. Like, what? Yeah. They put nothing down. So, a lot of things have changed. I will tell you something else since I'm in that process and everything, which is kind of neat. Like you said, we can share that. Down here, once you get your mortgage or once you go and get your credit and your mortgage, whatever letter, it is good for 4 months. I know we spoke about this the other day, which is, really crazy. Because I feel like everywhere else, like it's a lot shorter of a time.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of variables there, right? I think maybe that's actually which you don't have to tell me the name of it, but which lender are you looking at using?
Chase.
Is it one of the big bank Chase? Yeah. So Chase may offer something different than Wells or whatever, but
absolutely.
Or maybe it's a market by market thing, which is very possible.
No, I mean it might be, but 4 months seems just like it just seems like such a long, and it's not it's not like holding much water to it. But I will tell you, like for instance, my wife Allie, we're looking at buying a car, but when she obviously needs a car, and we both need cars, but we're waiting until we go ahead and do this in like a few weeks and do our check because obviously that'll ding it here and there. So we're waiting because once we do that, we're good for 4 months.
So wait. Let's talk about that a little bit because you're bringing up something that I think is valuable information and that people should understand. So backtrack a little bit. Why are you waiting and what are you waiting to do?
We're just waiting just because we just got down here. My wife actually started work yesterday or orientation yesterday. I won't start till towards the end of the month. And we're just down.
I'm leading you to a more general answer.
Yes.
Why would you wait to have your credit checked?
Oh, because I want, why would I wait till have my, well, that's a choice. I mean, we want,
because you're going to get
checked tomorrow.
I'll give you the answer that I wanted. And
tell me, because you're not steering me.
I'll give you the answer I wanted. Because if you pulled your credit for a mortgage pre-approval and you got that FICO score, if you go and start getting credit checks to buy a car, you're going to get dinged in your go down. I think that's where you were going.
Correct. I mean, any little thing will ding it these days, and it's just not worth it, especially when you put on there a giant, car or whatever, any kind of car. Not worth it.
Well, and
it's only a few more weeks. So we're waiting. Let's say November 1st. Not a big deal.
But then keep in mind, here's my other thought. Just keep in mind and talk to your banker about this because everyone's situation is different. But you have received your pre-approval, right? And they've checked and they've given you a commitment, or they're saying they're going to give you a letter based on these facts. And then you go find your home, and then you go back and you're gonna close on that home. They're going to go back and check your credit. And if you would not be here, Sam, but someone might be on the cusp of say maybe today their credit score is 730, and after purchasing a car, their credit resets and then maybe it's 715 and you get a different mortgage rate, but oftentimes between like 720 is one of those cutoffs that can change your mortgage rate. So I think it's important for people to keep that in
Which is
mind.
crazy.
Talk to your mortgage professional and, talk to your real estate agent.
Absolutely
But
should.
yeah,
And William knows some great ones in New York, and I'm learning some down here for sure. So we've got two different, cities, major cities covered. Um, what's interesting, you brought up credit, and I can share the credit. My wife and my credit is like, Allie somehow is over 800.
Allie,
I'm in the 790 range, so I'm good.
you can easily get it up to 800.
I know. Well, you know what's cool? And if you don't know it, and I downloaded it recently, have you heard of Credit Karma?
I have seen ads for it.
So it is a free app. It doesn't check your credit or anything. I mean, it shows you your credit from, I think, Experian or maybe it's Equifax and TransUnion. It shows you two numbers. It shows you like why it's this score and whatnot. It's completely free. Type in a little information, answer a few questions. It is so cool, and it shows you, your credit. I think it's neat.
Why don't you put that URL in the notes
I definitely
section
will.
of our
Credit Karma
video?
is the coolest app there. I can even just show you. Wow. So basically, I get on here, and I mean, my credit's not like a secret or anything, but.
Well, don't show us any private information. That's
No.
gonna be-
But I'm
We
gonna
don't
show
want
you
you
how
to
this
get
works.
hacked, buddy.
So you basically just log on. It's not gonna show you. It's just gonna show you the score after it gets my face on here. See? Well, that one went down a lot. There's an issue there, but this is the correct one. FYI. Yeah, there's some
Wait,
kind of issue.
show it again. Show it again. Show it
The
again.
725 is wrong. 794 is right. I'm in a dispute about a car. Oh, it's going off. Okay, but anyways, it's just like this. It'll show you exactly. You can dispute charges. No, seriously, the 725, they have a card on there that's not mine, and I've been trying to dispute it with them. But I usually have above 790. And it's such a cool app because you can do all this stuff with it. I just learned about it this year. Sadly enough, my father knew about it before me. The fact that this guy knows more about technology stuff than me,
Killing you.
well, the fact that he can even log into it and do it, anybody can do it. Anyway, so yeah, so all these cool things. Back to what you were saying about the market. That just came out today, all that information?
Well, yeah, because the third quarter numbers were released this morning. And I had seen, oh, you know what? Hold on. Someone texted me that because these headlines are the ones that really make me laugh. Manhattan home sales tumble and a market clogged with listings. Like these are the headlines.
Element.
So I don't know what's tumbling. I don't think anything's tumbling. You know what? I've said it all year. It is a good time to be a buyer. You can walk into a property and probably be the only person bidding on it. No. I'm talking New York City. I'm not talking Houston.
No. I know that, but you're saying that, but yet you have sellers, correct? You have listings right now yourself.
I do have listings. That is true, and we're actively interviewing buyers for these listings.
But you're saying but you're basically just saying out there to the buyers out there, if you're waiting, ask yourself, why the hell are you waiting?
What are you waiting for? You're waiting for higher interest rates. You're waiting for what I think is going to be a sideways market. So therefore, your higher interest rate is going to offset that sort of sideways. And those of you that are trying to outsmart the market, just like those of you that try to outsmart the stock market, you think you're going to be the one that jumps in there when things start to tumble. If there's something happens on the macro level, you will not be buying at that time. In my experience, 99 people out of 100 don't have the chutzpah to jump in a market like that. You like that? You like that Yiddish? You like that little Yiddish?
It's more than out. It's more than my wife knows.
And I even did the.
I don't even do that. No. So, but you're saying why wait, and you're saying buy. My question is to you is that I think a few shows, but not a few shows, but maybe a month ago or two. No, I think it was a couple months ago. You said you think it's going to get, the prices are going to drop a little more even. Like I've talked to people and they're saying, do you think like mid-December is going to be a better time to buy?
But so who knows that? And if I said that, I don't want to say I will retract. I don't know exactly what I said, but think about it this way. If you're buying a co-op in New York City, you're going to be holding on to it for a while because financially it's not going to make sense to try to buy it and flip it right away, right? Because the seller bears the closing cost. Market's not really appreciating right now. So think about why you're buying. If you're someone who's renting and you're waiting to jump into the buying pool, you're probably going to own that home for 5 to 7 years anyway.
Yep.
Everything will have corrected and have gone. So even if you buy where it went down another few percent, who cares? Because you're getting in at lower mortgage rates and you're going to be holding on to it, and the market's going to be completely different, and it will have appreciated most likely by the time you go to sell it.
Absolutely.
So I think I think when I'm talking with buyers, it's always like, what's your motivation to buy? If your motivation to buy right now is to like, I want to buy the bottom market, you're not a real buyer. I mean, to me, motivation to buy is you've outgrown your home, your family's growing, maybe
Yes.
you're downsizing because your kids have left for college.
Or you're renting.
Or you're renting and you finally want to own something you've been saving up, or you're just moving into town, or you're leaving town. Like there are real life events that make people buy and sell. I want to get a great deal. That's not a real buyer, I don't think.
No, it's not. I feel like 99% of the time that we have an open house or whatnot, and you ask, what's the reason or whatnot, just what you said. It's look, we have another kid on the way, we need more space, or
Right.
I'm renting, want to move and buy.
Right, I'm wasting all this money on rent. Right.
Yeah, it's rarely, I'm just looking around, I find a good, look, it doesn't, it's not that it doesn't happen, but sometimes, it's rare that you find someone saying, oh, I'm just looking, if I find the right deal, I might buy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
always,
I mean, and hey, there are deals out there, you have to be like comps don't lie. That's one of the things that we say all the time, right? The comps don't lie. So if something is actually, I just listed something today for $790. It's a really nice one-bedroom apartment, listed at $790. There are comps in the building, similar size, similar apartments in the eights. We think we have it priced. It's like, it's priced for the new market.
can we get an address?
145 East 15th Street, apartment
Ooh,
4 in Lake
gorgeous
Mary.
location.
It's in Gramercy. Yeah, no, it's a nice apartment. They just renovated. It's beautifully staged. It's low maintenance, less than $1,200 maintenance. But someone's not going to get that thing for $600,000. It's not the way that it works. The comps don't lie, right? It'll trade somewhere, hopefully around our asking price. It'll trade for what someone's willing to pay for it. But we're seeing a lot of people come in at that level, like way under the asking price, and it's even hard to get a counteroffer. And I know we're throwing a lot of concepts out there, but also keep in mind, if we just listed today, do you really think the seller's going to be that negotiable? I mean, right? Like, they haven't even vetted the market.
No.
To me, the opportunities are the ones that have been on the market for more than
200,
60
100 days, yeah. And
yeah, well, right, more than 6 days, more than 100 days, especially the ones that haven't price reduced.
Well, I was about to ask you, what if they price reduce? Do you think there's still those? Like, you see when it's on for 120 days, they've got 2 reductions already. Do you think they're still willing?
I think they're motivated. I also think that there are plenty of sellers out there who are and I have had these in the recent past as well. I don't want to tip my hat to the market. I don't want to reduce but I am very negotiable, and go tell everyone I'm very negotiable.
But you know what? But the ones that don't reduce, they end up, look, I understand sometimes you don't want to reduce, and I understand it's a huge financial commitment. This is, a big thing. I can't fly if I'm on the other side of this. It's my, hundred thousands of dollars, or my, I'm going to be frugal with it too, in some degrees. Even people that have all that money. But sometimes if you're not going to reduce, and the market dictates you are, those are the people that, hey, look, your listing's not going to move. Your apartment is not going to sell. And we see it happen time and time and time again.
I think this is your buddy, Daniel Milionowski.
So he is an agent to the Stars in Toronto. He is a super agent in Toronto. And he said...
He's also a smart man. I like what he said.
Let's not go too far. Kidding. Millie... Very great agent. If you ever buying property in Toronto, he is your guy. Agent Milstein.
Say what he said.
Qualified buyers equals MUA, which is motivation, urgency, and ability. If one of those is missing, they aren't buying. How true you are, son, sir. How true you are. Uh, I want to just bring something back. Well, actually, I just thought about it. If someone were to call you, and I've always said this is like a big thing. This is how you can really separate a great broker slash agent, where they're just a regular agent. If someone were to call you up, a buyer, and ask you, hey, do you know any great deals right now? Do you consider yourself like abreast in like a lot, a lot? Do you see a lot of listings out there? Do you know like certain listings that come to your head that you
Well,
see? They're like, oh, this is a great deal.
I will tell you this. I literally had a buyer, he's a longtime client, come forward within the past 48 hours and ask me that question. And he is a serious buyer that is in a situation where he could make a considerable purchase, cash, quick closing. So I am working on a project for him right now, and it takes a little bit of
Did you
legwork.
have one off the top of your head? Do you know like a few right now in New York City? There's obviously a lot of listings, but do
I
you have
know
a
of
few that you've seen recently?
the conversation started with new developments, and I know a couple of it. I am actively involved with a couple of negotiations with projects and new developments, so I know what they're offering. What we came back with regards to what was right for this client is we're actually going to target kind of what I was just explaining, the ones that have been on resales that have been on the market for a while. We are negotiating with an individual who, by the way, is going to be freaked out by these headlines today, and so therefore, right?
I mean, who isn't?
I mean,
Who
I
isn't?
mean, but seriously, if you're a seller and your property's been on the market for 2 months, and suddenly these headlines come out, and it basically is saying is everyone's waiting, and and if you just read the headlines, you get really
Either you're
freaked
going to
out.
retract your listing, or you need to man up and reduce.
But you know what? But there are plenty of people out there that really need to sell, and if they really need to sell, those are opportunities for buyers. And the way that I look at it is, if I can bring a buyer to a seller in this market, I am solving two people's issues, right? Because if you've got a real seller that really needs to sell, they want buyers in the door. So there are lots of opportunities out there, and it's actually a fun project to work on right now because this particular couple lives in my neighborhood on the Upper West Side, and I know that market really well. So I don't know. Stay tuned on that, but also stay tuned, Sam, because we sort of kicked the show off after I read the headlines that you're starting your journey in Houston, right? Of being a buyer. So I look
That's going to
forward.
be pretty fun. That's going to be exciting to
I
hear
look
about.
forward week
the
by week,
updates
man.
and all that.
I will bring us an update every single week on sort of what you've done the past week to.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you that it's not going to get hot and heavy until probably November 1st, but
right.
I'm still learning stuff. Look, I'm still going through the motions. We're still starting it out. And it's going to be, it's interesting slash fun slash, it's an adventure. It's, like I said to you, and I think in our first show down here, 5 of the most stressful things in life. And I think I've covered 4 of the 5 in 3 months, from getting married to moving, new jobs, and now buying a home. That's got to be, those are 4 of the top 5 most stressful things I'll ever do. And I've covered 4 pretty well so far.
I am laughing at Facebook. You know how Facebook freezes our faces, man. They do this on purpose. You and I both have had good ones today. The way it's freezing on my computer.
I can't believe it's already 1:30, and you know what? It's such a different. I like the dynamic of the shows.
That would be 1:30. Are you Central, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2:30 Eastern.
2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. Yeah.
But it's such a dynamic difference because the last show we had, I feel like, was very little about real estate. It was more about some other stuff because obviously we had big announcements and all that. And this one we segmented it back into reels. I mean, once again, if you're just joining us or you don't watch that often, we do it all. We talk about everything. We talk about the weather, which it's raining here off and on a lot. Beautiful in New York. It's the time to be in New York. In a couple months, get back to me. We'll see.
Hey, did you end up playing golf on Saturday?
No, and even my parents are like, why would you even go out there? It's pouring rain. I was like, because I really wanted to play golf, something that I miss so much. I'm a avid and a big time golfer, and I'll tell you what, living in New York City is not easy.
Golfing is not easy. Well, and nothing's easy in New York City. Come on.
No, but I'm just saying, to play golf, either you gotta rent clubs or you gotta lug your clubs. You don't have a car, onto a train, onto an Uber, subway, go outside the city. It's another schlep chill up.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I,
I do miss it. And I have not played yet, so I'm very excited to play when I can play.
well, we'll be looking forward to your next Facebook Live on your way to
Yes,
your
we
golf trip.
will.
Um,
In
uh,
sports
t-
news,
yep, go
tell
ahead.
me about the Longhorns.
Longhorns are 3-1, and we have Texas OU weekend.
Big weekend.
Big weekend, big weekend.
Are
Actually,
you gonna watch the game?
I'm gonna. What do you think? Actually, I got to see where
So
we're
let me ask
ranked.
you, what did Ruben do
Yes.
when you watch?
He's like hanging out. You know, he'll sort of watch the games, but he's not as into it as I am.
I get
I'm
Allie to
sure.
watch maybe like 10 minutes of a Texan game,
Hey,
and then she goes,
the Texans almost won, but they
"We
didn't
know
win.
we did win. We won. We won in overtime with
Oh,
no
in
time
overtime,
left.
right? Right,
No
right.
time left. We should have had it by a long shot, but we ended up winning. I don't know how. Team still needs a lot of work to it.
Congratulations on the
Thank
win.
you. I don't know how big of
I misspoke. Texas is 4-1. We
I
are
was gonna
ranked
say,
we're ranked 19 in the top 25.
which is crazy.
Oklahoma is ranked 7. They're 5-0, and the game is Saturday at noon Eastern. And so yes,
Don't miss that game.
That's
gonna
what
be
I will
one
be
hell
doing
of
at
a game.
noon. That's what I will be doing at noon Eastern. So there you go. I will not
That is
be
going to be a crazy good game.
watching real estate.
Yeah, and in baseball playoffs starting this week,
How are the Astros doing?
the Astros play either Thursday or Friday Cleveland, and we're favored to go all the way. We're favored in Boston.
Are they wild card or are they?
No, no, uh-uh. We have the
All
second
right.
best record in all of baseball after Boston.
All right. Well, congratulations.
So one other thing,
Yeah.
Agent Milstein said something else. He said the sellers who are testing the market are wasting everyone's time, and the
Amen,
agents
brother.
who are taking listings 10% plus overpriced are wasting everyone's time.
Amen, brother.
You know, and I'll just say, and I'll just end that note on one thing. You'll see listings sometimes for apartments for a lot, and a lot of agents do it, especially a lot of new agents or just agents that don't have anything else. They'll take a listing that's so overpriced, and what we like to call that a parking a listing, just to have a listing on their thing, but they're overpriced. And you know, hey, agents have all done it, and it's something they do.
It's something
yes.
they do.
But yes.
I'm trying to. I hope he understands my reference. I just gave him a preach. That's an East Texas thing. Preach, brother,
There you
preach.
go.
All right.
Preach.
All right. I think it's about time to wrap
I think
it.
we're good. Once again, I just want to say it is my favorite time of year, and I am so jealous because you have that house up in Connecticut, and I'm sure this time of year.
The leaves are starting to change a little bit. We're gonna get some nice foliage.
Pumpkins?
There's already pumpkins on the porch. If the bear hasn't eaten
Careful,
them.
I was about to say we don't want a repeat of 2017.
We don't need a repeat of the
Mr.
2007 bear
Bulls.
spotting eating my pumpkins. But speaking of pumpkins, I want to give a shout out to Mitch Capel's mother, who made pumpkin chocolate chip brownies, and they were hand delivered to me this morning from Mitch Capel on my team. Sam, you're gonna be very jealous that you can't be here to taste them. Mitch went home. Mitch went to Orlando for the weekend and brought back brownies. So.
Mitch, where are mine? Because you bring up, speaking of pumpkin, went last night to Trader Joe's, and my wife had to pull me out of the aisles as I pumpkin waffle mix, pumpkin pancake mix, pumpkin Cheerios, pumpkin maple syrup, pumpkin bread mix.
I think this is why we bonded years ago.
I got it all.
Because we both have the pumpkin fixation.
We have pumpkin fanatics. My wife, if you're watching this, or if you see this later, sorry, I got it all. I'm a huge pumpkinaholic. This is, I don't have a house yet, but when I do, pumpkins, decorations, lights.
Oh, I can't wait to. I can't wait
to cook a proper Thanksgiving feast. Pumpkin.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Very nice.
Anyways, if you're watching us, keep following us, like us, love us. We talk about everything you want to talk about. Agent Milstein, thank you for the great shout outs.
We appreciate the interaction on the show one day.
We should. Milstein, reach out to us. We'd love to have the Toronto voice on there. I don't know if I told you, but he once did a live Agent Milstein, Toronto edition for Agent Hoffman special, and it was great. So it'll be a great addition to have on the show. A whole other country, Canada.
Whole other country.
So we're live every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Keep watching.
See everybody next week.
Watch the Texas OU game, 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern.